This week on FAI Cup Baseball, we take you to Brisbane's ANZ Stadium to see the championship showdown between the Perth Heat and the Brisbane Bandits. The invaders from the west, the Perth Heat, emerged victorious in Game 1 of the Championship Series 9-1. But the Never Say Die Bandits, behind a huge crowd and a two-run homer to Paul Gonzalez, stormed back to take Game 2 6-4. Now it's Game 3 and everything is on the line. So stay with us to see who'll claim the coveted FAI Cup.
And leading it off for the Brisbane Bandits will be Steve Hinton, their shortstop. The second baseman, Ricky Bennett, will bat 2. Paul Gonzalez will play third base and bat 3. David Nilsson is the player manager. He's also the designated hitter and will bat in the 4th spot. Batting 5 is Grant McDonald, the centre fielder. Darsten Allen will play first base and bat 6. Batting 7th is David Fox over the left fielder. Brett Roneberg will play right field and bat 8. And the catcher, Peter Yates, will bat 9th. Around the field for Perth, and in left field it's John Moore. In centre field, Clayton Byrne, and Gavin Edmondson is the right fielder. Greg Jelks will play third base. Juan Bautista is the shortstop. Jason Hewitt will play second base, and Sean Jones is the first baseman. The catcher is Melvin Rosario, and the pitcher is Joey Rhodes. My co-commentators for Game 3 will be Mike Young, former Australian head coach, and also with me, Kim Jessup, former championship-winning pitcher for the Brisbane Bandits.
Joey Rhodes hasn't got a lot of numbers on the board so far this season for the Perth Heat. He's just got to be wanting to get ahead early, keep the ball out of the fat part of the plate, and keep the damage control to a minimum till he can get some rhythm and get some form going out there on the field.
Well, Steve Hinton, the shortstop, will lead it off. Hinton comes into the game, regular season, a .237 batting average, only 1 home run, so he's due to break out. Joey Rhodes starts it off with a fastball. Warren Smith, tell us all about it.
Joey Rhodes comes into this game with a 1 win and no loss record. He was a 4.41 earned run average during the regular season, but batters hit a .319 clip off him during the regular season, so he didn't have trouble making contact. He in fact gave up 22 hits in 16 and a third innings pitched, so he needs to get a good start away here, and hopefully a 3-up, 3-down inning for Joey Rhodes. If the Brisbane Bandits come out and lay some metal on the ball early, we could see a move to the bullpen in a hurry by Joe Ferguson, the manager of the Perth Heat.
Robbie Wells, the young left-hander, the Rookie of the Year, waits in the wings in case they need to go to the bullpen. 2 straight breaking balls from Joey Rhodes, the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jeff Brand, the home plate umpire, hailing from South Australia.
It's very interesting with both clubs too that they have both, for whatever reasons, during the course of the season, released 2 very good pitchers. David White from the Perth Heat, who had the best winning percentage of any pitcher in the league, and of course Christian Feletic from the Brisbane Bandits.
Now they'd love to have had both those players in their lineup today. Steve Hinton goes down swinging. Rhodes racks up a strikeout, who is first batter in a championship series in the ABL. It's a good fastball.
Who wants that one? Fastball, and that's what Rhodes would be looking for all day. He got that ball on the outside up part of the plate. Aggressive Stevie Hinton fails to make contact.
Takes us to the second baseman, Ricky Bennett, who had an outstanding Game 2 of this series. He was 3 for 4, including the game-tying base hit, a double to left field, which brought around Brett Roneberg to score, and that made it 3 apiece. And then the Bandits went on, courtesy of a Paul Gonzalez 2-run bomb, to take the lead, and that's where they stayed. Rhodes misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Bennett.
Joey Rhodes living outside, Kim Jessup, with that fastball. He's going to be very effective against right-handed hitters if he can stay out there.
1-2 pitch off speed. Ground ball to Greg Jelks, who bobbles at 1. Still has enough time, though, to throw to Sean Jones. The 5-3 play and the second out here in the top of the first.
It's so true. If he can live out there and paint that black outside edge of the right-handers and again work these left-handers inside, the Perth Heat, apart from the glitch last night, have pitched very well against this Bandits lineup. So it'll be interesting to see, and a lot of things that can come into play. And it is interesting that one of the winningest pitchers in the league, we watch this pitch for a ball, Simon Isons hasn't got a look in so far in this series, and yet he is one of the winningest pitchers ever in FAI Cup baseball.
Pitch from Rhodes just outside to Paul Gonzalez. He batted .323 during the regular season. Really is the star. Apart from, of course, David Nilsson. Nilsson only came back into the lineup in the second half of the season, and Gonzalez really carried the club offensively with 15 home runs and 54 runs batted in. You mentioned Simon Isons, Kim, only threw 8 innings before the playoffs, so I know he has been injured. Last season he was struggling with some arm trouble. This year, though, hasn't seen much time on the mound with Joe Ferguson calling the shots in the Perth dugout. Gonzalez takes ball 4, and Brisbane get their first runner on board in the game.
Well, Joey Rhodes with 2 outs, as you see Joe Ferguson pitching very carefully to Paul Gonzalez, the man that hit a big 2-run home run in game number 2 to put the Bandits in the lead. Gonzalez and Sean Jones having a bit of a laugh, enjoying the championship game. David Nilsson, yet to break out of it, steps into the batter's box.
First pitch, a fastball taken all the way by the Milwaukee Brewer major leaguer, of course, who just signed a $14 million 3-year deal to keep playing with the Brewers. He's off to spring training, flies out this week straight to Arizona. No rest for David Nilsson, who coming into this championship series had more hits in postseason play than any player in the history of the ABL, and so far in this series he has a duck egg, 0 for 7. 0 for 4 last night, 0 for 3 in game 1. That pitch gets away from Rosario as he feigned a throw up to first base. Paul Gonzalez was going nowhere, and in the end the ball just bobbled out of the glove of Melvin Rosario, who recovered in time, and Gonzalez, who doesn't have a lot of speed, wasn't even thinking about going to second.
Joey Rhodes falling behind the count in the last 2 hitters. He did come into the game with more walks than strikeouts, 12 base on balls to 9 strikeouts. You usually like to have 2-to-1 strikeouts over walks.
Back up the middle, off the leg of Rhodes. That'll go for a base hit. Gonzalez holds up at second, and David Nilsson breaks the hitless string. A single off the shin of Joey Rhodes, and Nilsson is now 1 for 8.
Kim, not a bad pitch here by Joey Rhodes. A breaking ball down in the strike zone. David Nilsson, the great hitter that he is, stays with it and hits it hard back up the middle to flex past Greg Jelk. So a good pitch by the young right-hander.
It was. It come off his glove too. It appears it's come off his glove hand. So he did get some leather on it, but it was stung a little bit hard, couldn't handle it, and the ricochet just out past shortstop.
He looks fine. Joe Ferguson just coming out to check it, as did the Perth Heat trainer. Interesting, before the game, sitting down in the dugout with the Brisbane Bandits, Paul Gonzalez's tip for the most valuable player here in Game 3 was David Nilsson.
Big call by Gonzo. I'll tell you, if you're a betting guy, Paul Gonzalez, I don't know if he's going to be a bookmaker.
Well, I suppose you'd have got some shade of odds, seeing that David was 0 for 7 coming into this Game 3, but well, you figure the more time he goes without a hit, the more likely he is to bust out with a bunch of them in one go.
Grant McDonald stepping in, batting behind David Nilsson. You have to believe that he's going to have to fire for the Brisbane Bandits, because if David does get hot, they'll pitch around him, and this guy's going to come up with men on base, Warren Smith, and he's been known in playoff games to do the big hit when it counts.
With runners in scoring position, McDonald batting .333, which is in fact below his season average for the Bandits, but still a healthy clip. Gonzalez out there at second base in scoring position. Nilsson is at first. 2 away here in the top of the first. McDonald, a late swing and a high fastball there, really pulled the trigger late on that one.
Kim, you know, I was talking to the hitters before the game. They played at ANZ Stadium a couple times this year at this time around 3 o'clock, and they said the glare is very difficult out of the center field seats. So it's going to be tough for these hitters to see the ball early in the game.
A 2 pitch, ground ball to Bautista. The Shaw fielding shortstop comes up and flips the ball to Hewitt at second base for the fielder's choice, and that will end it. The Bandits get 2 men on and leave them there as we have no score going to the bottom of the first inning. Scoreless here at ANZ in the deciding game in the Australian Baseball League Championship. And it will be Juan Bautista to lead it off for the Perth Heat. No score here in the bottom of the first, and David Gooder, who came in to shut it down for the Brisbane Bandits with 2 away in the 9th inning in last night's Game 2. He has the job of starting Game 3. During the regular season, he had a 4.09 earned run average, which means he gives up an average of just over 4 runs for every 9 innings he throws. His record in the regular season was a very good 6-2. He threw 81 and a third innings during that stretch. Bautista, the speedy shortstop, takes a curveball. No balls and 2 strikes. He quickly goes behind.
Interesting to see that Bautista now leading off, batted 9 in the second game against a right-handed pitcher. Against a lefty, they move him all the way up to leadoff hitter and move Jason Hewitt all the way to the 9 slot.
My former roommate, David Gooder, on the mound, a very relaxed young man. We see Bautista steps out and David has to check his wind-up. Very relaxed young man. Coming in, he's carrying the weight of the Bandits and Brisbane on his shoulders. Probably me included.
Just outside, Bautista takes that for ball 1.
Well, I've sort of got to look in both these games, Mike. I had Brandon Reed carrying my number last night, 32, and my former number 10 prior to that, on the back of David Gooder. So I hope it's not too heavy for him to carry.
The good luck charm. Former numbers worn by Kim Jessup. Swung on and fouled back. That one off the arm of Peter Yates, who was playing in his last game. He assures us in the Australian Baseball League he will retire after this game, and that one wasn't the sort of start he was looking for in this game, getting a hard foul ball right off the bicep.
Peter Yates has been in that many playoff games. He's the veteran. They call him Sarge. We're going to miss him, Peter Yates.
Just inside, not called. 3 straight balls. 2-1 Bautista, and the count is full. The payoff pitch coming up to the leadoff man. 19 stolen bases from 24 attempts during the season. It shows you what speed he has. Batted only .226 though. This one popped up to straightaway center field. Graham McDonald will track back and take it quite easily, just on the warning track. 1 away for Perth. That's how this one starts for them with a bat. Brings us to Ben Needle, the number 2 hitter.
David drops down a bit on this fastball, gets it, trying to get a run in on that outside edge. We see Bautista lift it to the Olympian Graham McDonald in center field, right in front of the FAI insurance sign.
Fastball on the outside edge to Needle, who takes it all the way for a strike. A .313 hitter. He had 4 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Big swing and a miss at a good fastball there, and David Gooder looks like he has a bit of movement on the ball today.
His fastball's jumping right now early in the ball game. Ben Needle, the young right-handed hitter, he couldn't hold up a high fastball, just got right by him.
That one way outside.
Working away on that outside edge. Interesting, Mike, when you made a comment about Williams perhaps coming in and throwing in this ball game after throwing Friday night. When it comes down.
Ground ball chopper back out the middle. Stevie Hinton can't come up with it. And Ben Needle will get on board. And the official scorers will rule that one a base hit.
Yeah, the pitches, we watched the replay here. Breaking ball down. He goes out and after it. Stevie Hinton on the charge. Just gets that bad hop off the wrist. can't come up with the out, and he's rewarded with an error on that one. But when it comes down the pitches, my game 3 of the championship, it doesn't matter. You've got all off season to rest and get your arm healthy again. So I would say everyone in that bullpen, apart from Brandon Reed, would be willing to throw tonight.
And this is Clayton Byrne, the number 3 hitter. The scorers changing their mind there after seeing our replay. That one has been posted, as you say, Kim, on the board as an error to Steve Hinton. That might have been a little bit harsh.
Might have been harsh, but you have to make that play when you have the offense of the Perth Heat, Clayton Byrne followed by Greg Jelks. You got to play great defense and throw strikes. Good pitching and defense in the last game is going to be the key to who walks away with the FAI Cup.
Exactly. Ordinary pitching's not going to do anything against this potent lineup of the Heat. You have to be on your mettle, as to the rest of your teammates.
What a series Clayton Byrne has had as he fouls that pitch from Gooder off. 2 home runs, another one last night in the Game 2 loss for Perth. A home run to left field, smoked out that side. His power alley, as was the shot he hit in Game 1. 3 hits last night, but made the big error at the start of the game. Talking of errors, the fly ball from Steve Hinton. Went very high indeed, and Clayton Byrne didn't have to move from where he was standing in the outfield. The ball hit the glove and popped out, and Steve Hinton got on board, eventually scored without the Bandits recording a hit in the inning. They jumped out to a 1-0 lead and changed the momentum of the whole series, it seemed, just that one play. Needle at first. Byrne trying to go the other way, fouls that back.
Good breaking ball from David Gooda as we see Greg Jelks waiting on deck. I was going to say patiently, but Greg Jelks was not waiting patiently. He can't wait to step in and get after David Gooda. On first base, young Ben Needle, not known for his speed, only 2 stolen base attempts, safe 1 time. So not a good running attack for the Perth Heat, although David Gooda keeps him close, throwing over to Dustin Allen.
As a left-hander, you never know whether the run is quick or not. With the left-hander, you have a good move, you can pick off a lot of people.
Gooda fires home. Byrne turns on a fastball inside and hooks it way foul in the end. Certainly got all of that ball, though. The son of the Australian Baseball League chairman, Rod Byrne, is Clayton. Rod was, well, not red-faced about Clayton's error last night, but he was a little bit sheepish when we asked him about it later on. But Clayton more than made up for the error with his bat, and of course a great double play, running and taking a catch off the bat of Grant McDonald to Rob McDonald of a base hit, and then spinning and whirling and throwing all the way to first base to backdoor David Nilsson, who was off for the races around second base. Tremendous play, and one of the best ones I know this commentary team has seen in the Australian Baseball League, that's for sure. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 away and a man on. Byrne chases a fastball up out of the strike zone.
It goes to show when you've got good heat early in the ball game, late in the ball game, it's hard for hitters to stay off it. David's been hitting his spots well, and we watch it here. This time he climbs the ladder with Clayton Byrne, gets that fastball up. Clayton can't catch up with it on his way back to the dugout.
2 down. It brings us to the cleanup hitter, Greg Jelks. One of the most distinguished hitters in his time in the ABL. Has played with both Perth and the Melbourne Reds. Has been back with the Heat all of this 96-97 season. What an addition his bat is to any lineup. A former teammate with the Reds of the Bandits player-manager David Nilsson. Wouldn't you like to have that sort of punch in your lineup with a manager? Needle goes, Jelks pops it up into shallow right field. Roderberg will stand there and take the catch to end it. And after 1 inning in Game 3 of this championship series, we've got no score between Brisbane and Perth at ANZ Stadium.
Welcome back to ANZ Stadium. Mark Eddles of the Perth Heat can only sit and wonder why. Last night giving up a 2-run homer to Paul Gonzalez which sent it to Game 3. Dustin Allen will lead it off in the second inning against Joey Rhodes. Allen, a .295 batting average, 5 home runs, and 35 runs batted in on the regular season. Joey Rhodes, the pitcher for the Heat, pitching to Melvin Rosario behind the plate. Ball 1, fastball upstairs.
Talking of Mark Eddles, it hasn't been a happy couple of seasons for him in playoff baseball. He was the losing pitcher in Game 3 against the Sydney Blues in their playoff series last season. The Blues, of course, going on to win the title. And then last night comes into the game trying to protect a lead given to him by Brett Walters, the starter for the Heat. Couldn't do it again. Things got away from him, and here we are.
Well, things are getting away from Joey Rhodes, not making an adjustment. 3 straight fastballs, all up and in out of the strike zone. So Joey Rhodes going to have to work down in the strike zone. Good adjustment right there. 3 balls, 1 strike as Jeff Brand, the home plate umpire, calls the balls and strikes. Another fastball, a full count. Rhodes comes back, 3-2. To the first hitter here in the second inning, Dustin Allen.
Payoff pitch, way inside, and Allen will go to first base. So already, Rhodes has issued 2 walks. His average for the season was 6.6 for every 9 innings he threw. So you'd expect him to be a little bit wayward and give up a couple of base runners. But as you say, in this Game 3, you can't afford to put people on and then have guys swinging away if you fall behind in the count. David Foxover steps up just in that situation here. Allen at first base, no one away in the top of the second, with no score here. A curveball, well blocked though by Melvin Rosario, who has impressed all through the season and again during the playoffs. Very
interesting to see what David Nilsson's going to do here. You saw Foxover square around, but it almost looked like he was fake bunting. If you go and sacrifice early in the game here, you open up a base with a left-handed hitter. You might let Foxover swing away, maybe even try to do some things, but that pickoff gets away, and Dustin Allen will go to second base. So that takes care of that chat I was having. Foxover doesn't have to bunt now. He can hit away and try to drive the run in or move Dustin Allen to third base with less than 2 outs. These are the things, guys, that are going to win or lose this baseball game.
You know, as we saw last night, Perth got away to a shaky start, and again here in this game, it was shaky once again as we see Dustin Allen advance that 1 base. And now we've got Joe Ferguson, the manager of the Perth Heat, out here talking to the umpires, questioning, I'm sure, whether Allen interfered with Sean Jones at first base, and that was the reason the ball got away and in fact went over the pass ball line. There he is out there talking to the second base umpire, Gordon Wright. Looks to be an animated discussion as far as Joe's concerned. You know, coming into this game, there was a real difference in the airs, the atmosphere in both dugouts. Brisbane were loose, and look at Ferguson here. He is really steamed. We'll take a look at it once more. Rhodes spins and then throws, and here comes Allen back. Well, I can't see what Joe Ferguson is talking about. Nothing at all there wrong. Allen didn't even brush Jones, and Ferguson, though, is really steamed up about this.
It looks like Joe Ferguson's just trying to do something to fire up his baseball team. It's an old ploy that managers will use, but this is not a good situation to do it in. It's early in the game. It's hot out. You know, Joe Ferguson has really been super intense with his players yesterday and today, and you got to be careful. These things can turn around on you.
We saw before the game there were 3 meetings down the left field line. The Perth Heat players were called in each time to have a chat about things, and just a last-minute pep talk. The Bandits, they were just having a nice time stretching and loosening up on the side. Really is a different approach to this Game 3 being shown by both clubs. Which one works? We'll wait and see.
I said before the game that it's going to be guys like David Foxover. They're going to make or break a win or a loss. And David Foxer, you know, he doesn't get all the accolades because of the Gonzaleses and the Nilssons. This guy only hit .273, but he does all the little things. He's always getting dirty, plays a lot of positions. He knows how to play the game, and that's why he stays in the ABL.
2 balls, no strikes. Rhodes behind again. That one just on the inside corner. Called for a strike.
Good
2
pitch.
balls, 1 strike.
I was just going to say, Warren, a good pitch to take. Inside, he's looking for a ball away to hit the ball to the right side and move Dustin Allen. That's what I'm talking about with David Foxover. He knows how to play.
2-1 pitch from the stretch. Ground ball, base hit. Down the right field, Allen will touch third and come home to try and score. The Bandits make it 1-0 and Foxover slides into second base.
Great job by David Foxover right here. Mike, you called it great. He sat there, he waited. Rosario sat up on the outside edge. Foxover was waiting. We watched the pitch here. Fastball. Foxy stays right with it, head down, drives it past Sean Jones at first base, scores 1 run, gets himself into second base with a double. Great bit of hitting by David Foxover.
A good strong throw by Gavin Edmondson, not in time.
And I don't think Juan will last too long if he keeps pulling that. That's speaking from the pitcher.
Juan Batista, that is the shortstop you're talking of, as Brett Roneberg squares around and tries to bunt Foxover across to third base. There was just a little incident, as you saw there on the replay, where Batista lost his balance, it seemed, and tried to, well, unintentionally put a little bit of space between the base and David Foxover, and David had the spikes planted and was going nowhere. The young right fielder, Brett Roneberg, with a great chance to drive in yet another run here. A swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch on the outside corner.
Can't defend a walk. And Joey Rhodes led off with a walk to Dusty Allen. Bang, a double. And they're 1 run up.
Roneberg hit only 171 during the regular season, but what a good postseason he's had. He's come up with some timely hits. Scored, of course, the tying run in last night's Game 2. Swinging the wooden bat as he has signed, and be playing with the Florida Marlins in the coming American League season. Ground ball to the right side. Hewitt comes across for the 4-3 play. The first out here in the top of the second, but Foxover advances 90 feet to third base and is just now 90 feet from touching home plate and making it 2-0 to the Bandits.
Smitty, watch the pitch. It's an off-speed pitch, which allows Roneberg to get out in front and pull the ball to the right side, which you don't want him to do. You've got to go fastballs away or something hard and in with 2 strikes. You let Roneberg get out in front, he gets the job done. Now you've got David Foxover at third base and less than 2 outs.
Rhodes up high with the off-speed pitch, misses to Peter Yates, as we said. Playing, he assures us, his last game, and everybody on the Perth Heat infield playing in, as you see the shot there. Jelks in a line with third base, but Batista at shortstop and Hewitt both up on the line between the bases. Called strike, 1 ball and 1 strike now on Yates. The man on and 1 away here in the top of the second. And it's the Brisbane Bandits who will play from in front in Game 3.
Peter Yates, a known right side of the field hitter. Very rarely does he pull the ball. The infield playing in. That pitch down and away. The infield playing in for that gentle ground ball or one hopper to any of these infield. The one players, obviously, as you call it, to home. Try and shut down this run of David Foxover.
Pitch inside, Yates doesn't offer. 3 balls and 1 strike now, behind in the count yet again. Has been a recipe for disaster so far. 3-1 pitch, Yates up high. That one, just a little foul tip off the upper part of the bat.
Peter Yates didn't want to go on that, tried to hold up, fouled the ball off. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, a big pitch for Joey Rhodes.
Comes home, misses up high, ball 4 to Yates, and then Rosario comes up throwing to third base, and Greg Jelks couldn't come up with it. Foxover, for a moment, indicated he was going to try and go home, but the ball didn't get far enough away from Jelks for him to try to, so Yates goes to first. Foxover stays at third, runners at the corner for the Brisbane Bandits. Still with 1 away, we're back to the top of the lineup. Steve Hinton, who struck out first time round against Rhodes.
The middle infielders will now play back for the double play. Steve Hinton, though, does run well. He's not an easy guy to double up. He's going to be looking, and he has been hitting a lot of balls to center field to wait, get something he can drive into the outfield to score at least 1 more run for the Bandits.
Ground ball left side, just foul.
That had Greg Jelk scrambling at third there, the big man. Stevie Hinton, his club wanting him to come up with the big punch out here now as far as a hit goes. And Joey Rhodes will be looking for a ground ball, especially to his infield, obviously. His shortstop and second baseman playing back. But whether they can get Steve Hinton will be the question.
Hinton is due. He's just 1 for 8 in this championship series. Pitch way up high from Rhodes. His control has been all over the place. 1 ball, 1 strike now on Hinton. Already 3 walks issued. We're just 1 1/3 inning through the game as far as Rhodes is concerned, and already we have action in the Perth Heat bullpen. Robbie Wells up and warming up. Hit hard to centre field. Byrne will stand there. Fox over tags and will try and score. Here's the throw. Not in time, and the Brisbane Bandits, on a sacrifice fly ball from Steve Hinton, lead the Perth Heat 2-0 here in the top of the second.
Good piece of hitting by Steve Hinton. Line drive to center field. But Clayton Byrne overthrows the cutoff guy. Now the key here was the tag up at first base by Peter Yates, and he goes to second. Now he's in scoring position. Great base running from the Brisbane Bandits. And I'll tell you what, Lefty, this is the last guy that Joey Rhodes is going to face in this inning. If he loses him with the left-handed Gonzalez coming up, you can bet your bottom dollar that Robbie Wells is coming in the ball game to face him.
Yeah, there's no doubt Ferguson will go to his bullpen very quickly. You see that fastball past Ricky Bennett. He will go to his bullpen, to the Rookie of the Year, Robbie Wells. He's not going to muck around with Joey Rhodes in this situation. Final game of the year, no one's going to be mucking around with anything out there.
Wells in game 2 through to just 1 hitter. That was David Nilsson, and he struck out the major leaguer. A ball off the glove of the diving Greg Jelks. Yates will round third base and score. A seeing eye ground ball off the bat of Ricky Bennett gets through the infield, and the Bandits have busted out for 3 runs here in the top of the second.
Well, when it rains, it pours, but now the base running by Peter Yates really pays off. From second base, you'll see Jelks deflect the slow ground ball from Ricky Bennett, and Yates is able to storm around with the 3rd run, and Paul Gonzalez now stepping in. Robbie Wells is ready, but Joe Ferguson looks like he's either going to wait till the last second to make the move or let Rhodes face Paul Gonzalez.
Bennett at first base with 2 away. And the Bandits leading 3-0 over the Perth Heat in game 3 of this championship series. Gonzalez last time around walked against Rhodes. 1 of 3 base on balls issued by the right-handed starter. That pitch outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Surprising, Kim, huh? Surprising. I'm surprised that he's letting him throw to Gonzo. This guy can really open this game up. You know he's going to have to bring him in to face David. He did pitch last night to David Nilsson, Robbie Wells, and he struck him out. A very good job of pitching. So I'm surprised he's not already brought him in for Gonzalez.
Very true. Paul Gonzalez with that savage home run to right field last night. You get the ball out over the plate to this man, he can tattoo it and send it a long way. Definitely one of the most potent home run power hitters in this FAI Cup.
He can afford a smile there. That one he found back to the screen. I think he's thinking he should have done a little bit better with it. It was his pitch. He missed it. Rhodes spins and throws across to Bennett. Jared Tancred officiating at first base. As we said, Gordon Wright is the second base umpire. Ian Taylor is at third base. Gary Kennedy is out in left field. John Chowker is up in right field. Gonzalez, a hard foul ball into his lead foot.
How good that smart base running by Peter Yates when we saw Clayton Byrne, the centre fielder, overthrow the cutoff man on the fly ball to centre field. Put Peter Yates on second base, and he scored on that mix-up between Greg Jelks and Juan Bautista at shortstop.
Dream start for the Bandits. The momentum continues to go their way. An incredible championship series.
Melvin Rosario set up inside, trying to get the fastball in. That ball leaked right out over the plate. Paul Gonzalez, a good swing, fouls it straight back. So Melvin Rosario, a good catcher. You know, you can only call the pitches. You can't put them there. And right now, Joey Rhodes is not hitting his spots, and he better start to, or he's going to make a mistake to Gonzo and get hurt. He's concerned about Ricky Bennett over at first base. I don't think Ricky Bennett's going anywhere. They're going to let Gonzo swing the bat.
Bandits aren't going to risk giving up an easy out here.
Away he goes there on the 2-2 pitch. Rosario, the throw is not in time to Batista, and he isn't happy. Right in the face of Gordon Wright. Some emotion being shown here by Perth early in this game. A couple of calls not going their way as Gonzalez watched ball 3 go across. And Ricky Bennett, who stole 13 bases in the regular season, Bautista thought he got Bennett as he slid into the base, not according to Gordon Wright.
There's no doubt Ricky Bennett was safe. Made me look bad. I didn't think they'd run him there. But Kim Jessup, the Perth Heat are losing their composure. The manager's been arguing. The shortstop's been arguing. It could get away from them if they don't get themselves under control.
And 2 good hitters to help get it away from him right here. Paul Gonzalez followed by David Nielsen.
The payoff pitch coming to Gonzalez. That's low and away, ball 4. Walk number 4. And that at-bat was a lengthy one for Gonzalez. The good thing as far as Perth is concerned, that did give some extra time to Robbie Wells to get ready out there in the bullpen. David Nielsen will step up. Runners first and second. And Joe Ferguson waits until the last second to come out for what should be the end. For Joey Rhodes, you see Robbie Wells out there in the bullpen warming up quicker than ever now that Nielsen is stepping to the plate. The catchword right now for the Perth Heat is pressure. They are feeling plenty of it, especially with this man at the plate. First time round, a base hit off the glove of Joey Rhodes. The first of a couple of knockout blows for Rhodes. Runners first and second with 2 away here in the top of the second. The Bandits on top of the Heat, 3-0. Third and deciding game in this championship series. Wells strikes Nielsen on the upper arm, who spun and got on base, taking that one on the upper arm. So Bennett goes to third base, Gonzalez to second, and here's Nielsen going to first.
David, a little bit of a lean move. How about the dance step? John Travolta at the plate drops the shoulder.
Amanda must have been giving him some dance tips. His wife, I think, his very lovely wife. I think she's been teaching him how to dance.
Well, David Nielsen, that loads him up. Bases bulging. Gonzalez at second base, and Grant McDonald at the plate. Hits left-handers very, very well is Grant McDonald.
First pitch, low on the outside corner for a strike. Grant McDonald against left-handers, batted .286 during the regular season. As we said, with runners in scoring position, he bats .333. A dangerous man at the plate in this situation. Pitch outside from Wells, off speed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You see Rosario cock the arm. He loves to throw the ball around. Not a good time to do so with bases loaded. They don't need a throwing error by an over-anxious catcher at this point in time.
Exactly.
McDonald goes the other way and fouls that one off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coming into this game, gentlemen, the real battle is going to be between the bullpens and just how long each starting pitcher could last in this game. Well, so far it's 3-0 and 15 love to the Brisbane Bandits. Robbie Wells now assumes the position basically of a starter here, with Rhodes being knocked out after 1 2/3. And that perceived depth that Perth did have as far as the bullpen coming into this game in Game 3 has now been equalised, you would think. As you said, the Bandits have Jeff Williams, the Game 1 starter, on standby. He's ready to go a couple of innings, according to manager David Nielsen. And, of course, his elder brother, Bob Nielsen, will be itching to get into this game somewhere late in the innings. McDonald lifts a fly ball to left field. Going back is John Moore at the wall, makes the catch. Wow. That was all but A grand slam home run and a scare early on for Robbie Wells, but he gets the final out in the top of the second. After 1.5, the Bandits lead at 3-0, but this was very, very close.
John Moore, Gold Glove nominee, the left fielder, an Olympian for the Perth Heat, back scraping the wall, hauls it down, but not before the Bandits score 3 runs, and they jump out to that 3-0 lead. The hitter stepping in the bottom of the second inning for the Perth Heat is the big first baseman, Sean Jones, a .329 hitter in regular season with 12 home runs and a huge 44 runs batted in. So Sean Jones, one of the many Perth Heat hitters with excellent power, facing left-hander David Gutta.
A 3-run top of the second for the Brisbane Bandits as the bespectacled Gutta wheels and deals and fires in a fastball. 2 balls, no strikes on Sean Jones. Has had a good playoff championship series. Last night he went hitless, but in game 1 he was 3 for 4. Called strike. 2-1 now on the leadoff man here in the bottom of the second.
Gutta appears to be dropping down occasionally on that fastball, Mike. By looks, I would say, to get some run on it. I haven't seen that from the roomie before, but he is showing it tonight.
Falls behind here to Jones, 3-1, and the worst thing you can do after coming out and scoring a few to give yourself a lead is go and walk the leadoff man. Gutta throws that one away. 4 out of 5 pitches were balls, and Sean Jones goes to first base, so some nerves being shown by both teams here, and now Jones goes to second base. He took off here as the ball, according to him, got stuck in the backstop.
Well, we'll look at and see this transpire a bit. The ball got away on ball 4, went all the way to the backstop. Jeff Brand calling the umpires together. I'm not sure that he saw where the ball was. The replay shows ball 4 downstairs. Yates can't dig it out. Yates, he doesn't know where it is. He's looking for it. Sean Jones, of course, good job right there. Sees it, starts jogging down. You'll see the ball in the back by the grass sitting there. That ball's live. No, what's happened is this. Jeff Brand has given catcher Peter Yates another ball. So Jeff Brand thought it was out of play. He gave Peter Yates another ball, but the ball was still actually in play. Now David Nilsson's talking to Jeff Brand and say, Brandy, what's up? So we had 2 balls in play, guys. That's the bottom line. There was a ball sitting on the grass behind home plate, and Peter Yates had another one in his hand.
I don't know what happened with Pete there. He didn't show much urgency when that ball hit the dirt. I don't know what he was thinking about. And the ball just sit to the left of Peter Yates. So the umpires obviously said that Sean Jones deserves the fact that he's at second base, and it was a mix-up on behalf of Peter Yates and possibly the umpire in part 2 of that scenario.
Well, no doubt Jeff Brand has erred by handing Peter Yates a baseball when the pitch was still in play. The ball, of course, just because it was ball 4, isn't dead unless the ball goes out of play through the backstop, or as in the case here at ANZ across the pass ball line. Sean Jones could circle the bases if he wanted to and come home and score while the ball's in play.
Well, either way, the call's been made, and let's get back to it, because the bottom line is David Gutta did not throw very well to Sean Jones. Bad pitch selection, a 2-1 changeup out of the strike zone, and the ball 4 was well in the dirt. So that long top of the second inning really could have taken something out of David Gutta. And just as I said, he shoots a low strike to John Moore.
Moore, the left fielder, taking that catch in the top of the second to end it. Off the bat, Grant McDonald, who went deep but not quite deep enough for a grand slam home run. Moore in last night's game 2 was 2 for 3. Batting in the 6th spot in game 1 against the left-hander, Melvin Rosario fielded the 6 hole. Rosario's been dropped 1 in the order by Joe Ferguson for this game 3. He'll bat at 7.
That was a good pitch by David Gutta. I think Jeff Brand's a little shook up as well. He's got to pull it back together. This is for all the marbles, and the umpire does play a big part he's been calling that outside corner, and that time didn't give it to David Gutta.
It definitely looked like a good pitch from our angle, but then the camera angle is a bit deceptive.
Hit in the air. Behind first base, coming across is Ricky Bennett. He takes it in front of Brett Roneberg and then fires to Steve Hinton, who cuts the ball and holds Sean Jones at second base. Pop up and one away in the bottom of the third. The man on for Perth. Brisbane leading at 3-0.
You'll see the pop-up. Ricky Bennett, second baseman, always has the right of way over the first baseman on that angle. Ricky Bennett does a fine job. The young rookie this year, a great defensive player, a star of the future for FAI Cup baseball. 1 out. Melvin Rosario, the switch-hitting catcher, a better left-handed hitter than he is right. Bats third against right-handed pitching, down in around the 7 hole against left-handed pitcher David Gutta.
He hit 271 combined during the regular season, but as a left-hander he was 300. As a right-hander he was down at 265. So this is his weak side of the plate compared to when he faces right-handed pitchers and turns around the other way.
David Gutta got a bear back down now. Try and keep this man at second base, of course, and get his club out of this inning.
Popped up. Going back is Hinton and Bennett. Charging, though, from centre field is Grant McDonald, who with a couple of dipsy doodles and then came up with it.
Couple of who?
A couple of dipsy. He put the brake on a couple of times there and indicated left, indicated right, and then I thought for a moment or two that everybody was going to watch it drop in between them. That wasn't the case, though. He took the catch, and you watch here. He just sort of hits the brakes. Oh, no, keep going a little bit. There it is.
Grant McDonald, the Olympian. Some consider him the best center fielder in the Australian Baseball League, Grant McDonald.
That's a technical term, Kim.
Thank you.
Dipsy doodle.
I'm not experienced with this TV stuff.
You'll find it in most baseball dictionaries.
Well, David Gutta seems to have found the mark again, showing some quality velocity. Threw that fastball right by Gavin Edmondson. Edmondson, a starter against left-handed pitching. Shane Spry, the left-handed hitter, usually starts against right-handed pitching, so they platoon, that's called. And Gavin Edmondson starting today against David Gutta, falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes.
Great job so far, giving up that leadoff walk. That runner, Sean Jones, that hitter, I should say, is still standing at second base. Managed to retire 2 hitters now, and Gavin Edmondson at the plate.
Goodall looks in for the sign. Checks Jones and comes home. Curveball gets Edmondson. David Gutta fights back after walking the leadoff man. And after 2 innings, it's Brisbane 3, Perth nothing in Game 3 of the Australian Baseball League Championship Series.
The Perth Heat are tight. This is a baseball team that has struggled to win the championships late in series. They've lost a lot in the last game, the last championship series, and it's on the back of this young fella, Robbie Wells, and that guy, Greg Jelks, still hasn't busted out, but you can see the looks on the faces, and you know, it's a little bit tough for them. They've been through this many times before, and they've got to be wondering, Warren Smith, when's it finally going to happen? Let's get the monkey off our back.
Well, that monkey has been feeding on a good bunch of bananas, and he's more like a gorilla right now. Leighton Byrne is trying to keep loose out there in the outfield as the Perth Heat come back out and try and shut the Bandits down in the top of the 3rd inning. And it will be Darsten Allen, the first baseman, who lead it off. He scored to open it up for Brisbane. In the 2nd inning, he walked. One of 4 base on balls issued by Joey Rhodes. He was taken out of the game with 2 outs in the top of the 2nd. Wells came in. Had a scare when McDonald went deep.
A good changeup by the young left-handed pitcher Robbie Wells. Dustin Allen
just going back to change a glove. He went back, wasn't happy with the one he was wearing, and David Nilsson said, here, try this one.
No, you had to. He swung and missed. Get rid of that thing. Get me another one.
Obviously wasn't working.
It's got to be the glove.
Happy to take one off David Nilsson, though. 1 ball, 1 strike. Allen gets a line drive for a base hit into left field. The magic Nilsson gloves do the trick.
So it was the glove.
It could become the routine for Darcy Allen. Run the count to 1 ball, 1 strike, change gloves, and come up with a line drive base hit to left field.
A changeup out over the plate. Dustin Allen got the bat head out. Johnny Moore cuts it off. David Foxover, the hitter. I think you'll see Foxy swinging away here, 3-0. Left-handed hitter on deck, left-handed pitcher. So David Foxover, a big double. His last time at the plate to right field really got things going for the Brisbane Bandits. Dustin Allen at first base, breaking ball upstairs.
Despite the size of David Foxover, he is one of those sleeping giants in a lineup. He doesn't attract much attention, just goes about his work and delivers big blows like he did in the previous inning.
Fastball at the knees for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wells hasn't looked quite as sharp as he did in the couple of at-bats he threw last night. Here he goes across to first base, and Allen trots back standing up.
Smitty, let's take account of the comment you just made. We're talking about an 18-year-old kid. He played in the under-18s last year. He has to get up last night and warm up and pitch, and now you're going to bring him up in an afternoon game after a night game. You know, this kid, he's still young. He's still developing physically. It's not going to be easy for him, and he isn't a big kid. You know, he's slight of build, so he's going to be a great pitcher, already is for his age, but this is going to be a tough outing for him.
Well, it's only 18 hours since he was out there last night. Jelks to Hewitt to Jones off the bag. They can't turn the double play, but they do get the lead runner at second base. Allen is forced out. Foxover had enough wheels, and the throw from Hewitt was just far enough down the line for Foxover to be safe at first.
Slide from Foxover had no real effect there. From Allen had no real effect, but Foxover able to get around the tag of Sean Jones.
Be interesting to see what the young left-handed hitter Rhett Ronenberg does against the young left-handed pitcher. This is a real testimony to the development of Australian players. Here's 2 great young stars facing one another in FAI Cup Championship baseball.
Wells kicks and fires and comes home and paints the outside edge with a fastball, and Ronenberg goes behind 0-2.
Rhett Ronenberg will be leaving shortly to join the Florida Marlins spring training camp in his second year as he pulls a fastball hard right at Jason Hewitt, over to Bautista, over to Jones for the double play to end the inning. So a double play. Ronenberg grounds into it, 4-6 to 3. After 2.5, the Bandits still lead over the Perth Heat, 3-0.
Watch the takeout slide of David Foxover on this replay. Some words were spoken between him and Juan Bautista afterwards. So this little contest is not over yet.
Jason Hewitt will lead it off. The unaccustomed number 9 position for him in this game. Was the leadoff man last night. Travels all the way to the other end of this Perth Heat lineup for game 3. Takes that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hewitt, during the regular season, was a .350 hitter. Takes that pitch inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. David Gooder, after getting that 3-run lead, came out and walked Sean Jones, but he'd have a big break as the Bandits bat for a long time in that top of the second while they scored those 3 runs, and Gooder took a little while to get warm back up for the bottom of the second. Here he is with the count even. 2-2 now against Jason Hewitt. Pitch up high, full count.
This is a very important hitter for David Gooder. He walks the left-hander, and we go to the top of the order again. And David Gooda has thrown a lot of pitches so far in this game. That fastball hit hard, but right at Ricky Bennett. Takes the step, fires across, so Hewitt goes down. Bennett to Allen for the first out here in the bottom of the third inning.
Gets us back to the top of the lineup. Sorry, Kim. Juan Bautista coming up.
That fastball well up in the zone on Jason Hewitt. Elected to have a go at it. Did nothing but a ground ball to Ricky Bennett.
You see Ricky Bennett, uniform soiled after that dive into second base for the stolen base. Bautista shapes bunt. That drags Darsten Allen racing towards home plate, and Bautista gives him the death stare.
Juan Bautista, an intense young man. You got to say, though, he may be one of the best infielders we've ever seen in Australia. A very flashy defensive player. Once he gets that offense working a little bit, you're looking at a major league player as he takes ball 2 up high. So Juan Bautista leading off against the left-hander, jumps ahead, 2 balls, no strikes here in the third inning against David Gooda.
No doubt full of cockiness is Juan Bautista.
21-year-old from the Dominican Republic. His English is pretty good, as Mike and I found out down in the batting cage before Game 3. He asked us both if we were Major League scouts. After I straightened myself from doubling over laughing, the thought of me being a Major League scout, Mike I can believe, but certainly not me. Mike, being the joke, of course, said I was a former pitcher with the Houston Astros, which is even further from the truth. Bautista takes ball 4 and goes up to first base. Juan had a good enough understanding to realise that Mike, being the comedian he is, was just joking. Which always isn't the case with the Dominicans. They can struggle to pick up the language, and in some cases it does hurt their progress through the minor leagues.
Definite base stealing threat now. Juan Bautista poses at first base for the Perth Heat. Something that David Gooda will have to keep a close eye on here.
19 successful thefts during the regular season as Ben Needle steps up and tries to go the opposite way that time and fouls it back. No balls, 2 strikes. Needle got on board. A chopping ground ball that Steve Hinton couldn't come up with back in the bottom of the first. That was ruled an error on the shortstop. He was one of 2 base runners so far in this game, or 3 rather, for the Perth Heat. Gooda comes home way inside. Needle just sways out of the way.
Go ahead, lefty.
Not a bad pitch there from Gooda with 2 strikes on the hitter. Something to try and tempt Ben Needle with. He wouldn't have been able to do a lot with that pitch had he chosen to swing at it.
Bautista gets the uniform dirty, diving back to first base. Of course, here at ANZ Stadium, just the cutouts around the bases and the mound, of course. In the major leagues, or in most major league ballparks which have natural grass, you see the full infield. This being a rugby league field, and the club not wishing to cut up the ground too much for the oncoming rugby league season, they make do with just the cutouts, which is pretty much the go all around the Australian Baseball League, apart from Altona Stadium, or now Melbourne Ballpark as it's called, and the former Parry Field, the former home ground of the Perth Heat over there in the Golden West, which feature artificial infields. Needle fouls that one back. The Bandits 3 runs on 4 hits. They've made the 1 error. The Perth Heat, no runs, looking to come up with their first base hit of the game.
That's something that's always dangerous when the Perth Heat don't have a hit. You know that they're going to bust out, and David Gooda kicks and fires to Ben Needle. That's a double play possibility. Hinton over to Bennett to Dustin Allen, and that's a double play. A great job of defense. Juan Bautista comes across and really tries to take Ricky Bennett out, but Ricky Bennett hung right in there. Look at the baseball. These guys come to play. Hinton to Bennett. He comes in high. I'll tell you what, that was shaky, ladies and gentlemen.
He's looking at a beating right there. That ball, he keeps pulling that, Mike. I don't care what club he plays on, who he plays for. He's going to get himself a beating one of these days. That sort of thing won't be taken lightly.
We're in the top of the fourth inning. The veteran, batting 9, the catcher, Peter Yates, will lead it off. Yatesy walked in his only time at the plate and eventually scored one of the 3 runs for the Brisbane Bandits. The Bandits lead over the Perth Heat 3-0. A good curveball from Robbie Wells evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. The young left-hander came on for starting pitcher Joey Rhodes. Fastball, Yatesy hits it into right field, but right at Gavin Edmondson, the right fielder, who takes it for the first out here in the top of the fourth.
Gets us back to the top of the lineup. We take a look at this fly out by Peter Yates. Loves to step to left field and hit to right field. That one, unfortunately for him, was right at that man. Gavin Edmondson back in his starting lineup role. Shane Spry was the starting right fielder for the Heat in Game 2. But here is Steve Hinton. That one, a line drive just over the head of Jason Hewitt. Hinton gets on board. A sacrifice fly ball which scored a run in the previous inning for the Brisbane Bandits, and here he is coming up with a base hit now against Robbie Wells.
Fastball out over the plate, just got it off the end of the bat, found the hole over Jason Hewitt's head. I got a feeling this is a good situation to hit and run. Ricky Bennett is a good right side hitter. There's only 1 out. Don't be surprised. It's a 1-0 count if David Nilsson puts on a hit and run. Bennett just showed bunt, but this is a good hit and run situation right now for Ricky Bennett.
Brisbane Bandits with a man on board, Steve Hinton. A real scrapper. Has already won a championship back in 1993-94 with the Bandits. As has a number of his teammates, including the player manager David Nilsson, who was the catcher in that series. Took pitches off the man sitting to my left, Kim Jessup. Was a big part in that win by the Bandits. David Nilsson, of course, has also won titles with the Dakio Dolphins and the Melbourne Reds. 3 championships to his credit, trying to make it number 4 right here.
He's definitely got the Midas touch when it comes to championships.
Bennett goes the other way for a base hit. Hinton will round second and hold up there. He thought about going to third, but Stuart Robic at third base held him up at second, and Ricky Bennett, what an outstanding championship series that young second baseman is having.
You would have to have some serious rockets to go to third base here. Gavin Edmondson, the right fielder coming in on this ball for the Perth Heat, has got a cannon for an arm. And I don't think it would have been much of a contest, even with the speedy Steve Hinton, had he decided to try and get to third.
You have a feeling right here that these next 2 at-bats could decide the outcome of this game. Paul Gonzalez followed up by David Nilsson with 1 away in the top of the 4th, and the Bandits already with a 3-run lead. If Gonzalez and Nilsson come up with a couple of base hits, this one could be put away by the Bandits. Pitch inside, blocked by Rosario. Hinton holds up at second.
There's action in the bullpen for the Perth Heat. I think Shane Tonkin will get up. Robbie Wells, if he struggles to get these 2 left-handed hitters, may not go any further. This is what it's all about as far as left-handed pitchers. You've got to get left-handed hitters out. And Gonzalez lifts this one softly. Jason Hewitt will camp under it and take this one. So he gets the first lefty out, but now he's got to face the .420 batting average of David Nilsson. Steve Hinton still over at second base. The replay shows a fastball downstairs. Gonzo tries to turn on it and lifts it weakly to second baseman and Olympian Jason Hewitt for the second out here in the 4th inning.
Nilsson so far in this game, a single off the glove of Joey Rhodes, which ricocheted past Juan Batista at shortstop, and then he was hit by the pitch by Robbie Wells. Nilsson was the first batter that Wells faced after he came in to relieve Rhodes. Starts him off with a curveball. 1-0 with 2 away. Hinton at second. Ricky Bennett at first.
The one thing about David, I saw him do this against Graham Lloyd when they won the championship with the Waverly Reds. If he starts looking away and left-handers try to pitch him away, he can shoot the ball to left field with the best of them.
1-0 pitch. Hit hard Base hit into right field. Hinton will come around and score. Here's the throw from Edmondson, not in time. And David Nelson comes up with an RBI single into right field. As Steve Hinton punches his stomach after sliding across home plate, Brisbane lead the ball game 4 runs to nothing. Don't worry about the opposite way. He just smoked one into right field.
Lefty, we've seen him for a long time. The bigger the game, the better he plays. They call it the Nilsson factor. A head-first slide by Stephen Hinton. He jammed his finger a little bit, but that man puts 4 runs on the board. So a key 2-out RBI by the playing manager, David Nilsson. The Bandits lead 4-0, and it's not over yet. Remember, Grant McDonald, the last time at the plate, was caught right on the wall with bases loaded. And here comes Joe Ferguson with the right-handed hitter coming up. It'll be interesting if he's going to go to the pen, and yes, he is. Shane Tonkin will come on, the Olympian, the right-hander. So Joe Ferguson's got no choice, ladies and gentlemen, but to pull out all the stops.
Tonkin, first pitch after he relieves Wells. Grant McDonald takes that all the way. 1 ball, no strike as the rain falls down at ANZ Stadium. Ricky Bennett is there at second base. Nilsson is at first. That one outside as well. 2 balls, no strikes. There's the Milwaukee Brewer major leaguer and manager for the Brisbane Bandits. What a season he'll be expecting to have. And the Brewers will be expecting him to have a pretty good one also, after paying him some pretty good dollars after he batted 6th in the American League batting averages in 1996. Australia's best ever baseballer, number 14. 2 balls, 1 strike on Grant McDonald. Hard hit ground ball, chopping foul down the left field side. Shane Tonkin on the regular season had a 4.25 earned run average. 3 wins, 3 losses. He threw 42 and 1/3 innings. He struck out 15, walked 13. He's only ever thrown 2 innings before in a championship game. So here, apart from Friday night's game 1, now the ball gets away from Rosario. Bennett will go to third base. Nilsson advances 90 feet to second base. And everything about this game, the body language of it, we talked about biorhythms or whatever you want to call it as far as baseball games are concerned. Everything going the way of the Bandits right now.
Melvin Rosario very lazy behind the plate on that play. Tried to backhand the ball, didn't move his feet. Not a good sign, because the bottom line is the catcher has to stay focused. This Perth Heat lineup is not done. These guys can score runs. You got to keep it down to 4.
Hit high to left field. John Moore will hold his ground and take the catch to wrap it up. But the Bandits get 1 more, and after 3.5 innings, they lead the Perth Heat in Game 3 of the Championship Series, 4 runs to nothing, right here at ANZ Stadium.
Welcome back. The bottom of the 4th inning finds that man, David Gutta, ahead 4-0. A smile from David Gutta. He's nice and loose. The young man came into the game. We were talking before the game. He was nice and relaxed. Got a save last night, striking out the last hitter for the Perth Heat to save the game, and leads in this one 4-0. But he's got to face Clayton Byrne to lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. Clayton Byrne so far in this game struck out on a fastball in his first at bat, so he's 0 for 1. Gutta, 1 strike pitch, hit hard but foul. So Clayton Byrne gets around on it, fouls it off. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike here in the bottom of the 4th.
And you know, apart, Mike, from the obvious scoreline 4-0 to Brisbane, we're talking about pitching and bullpens and how it would possibly pan out at the start of the game as Gutta gets a ground ball off the bat of Byrne, which beats the diving Steve Hinton for a base hit into center field. But Byrne continues his great championship series, stands up there at first, and the first base hit of the game for the Perth Heat.
He just rips this one. He gets the ball up in the zone. Rips a line drive, single into center field. to lead things off for the Perth Heat.
As Greg Jelks steps up, he is 0 for 1 in this game, popped up to right field. First time around. Takes that pitch down low. Back to the bullpens. Joey Rhodes started the game in the pen. The Perth Heat had Robbie Wells, Mark Eddles, Shane Tonkin, Moylan and Isons. Well, so far you can scratch Rhodes and Wells. We're already to Tonkin. While in the Brisbane Bandits bullpen, ground ball softly to Bennett. He'll tag Byrne. He's out. The throw not in time to Dustin Allen. And now we're going to have Tony Adamson come racing out and question that call by Gordon Wright at second base. Byrne wasn't in fact tagged by Bennett, but Gordon Wright said he was far enough off the line to be ruled out.
Now let's take a real close look. That fastball gets in on Jelks, and now you'll see Bennett field the ball. Clayton Byrne, they say he jumped out. You get 3 feet either side. Jelks, beats the ground ball, but they say Clayton Byrne jumped out of the baseline. Clayton Byrne not happy as he stands out there, but he's given the out, so the lead runner, Clayton Byrne, the key guy, is the first out here in the 4th inning, and nothing is going the way of the Perth Heat.
Absolutely nothing. Joe Ferguson can shake the head. What an unenjoyable 3.5 innings he's had so far here in Game 3. Sean Jones, curveball from Gooder up high. 1 ball, no strike. Jones walked his first time around. 1 of 2 walks issued so far by David Gooder. The Perth Heat have had 4 men on board through 3 1/3. Jones, soft line drive into centre field. McDonald running across though, takes it. That one deceptive, travelling a little further into the outfield than it looked off the bat. Certainly didn't make a big ring off the aluminium bat. Well, he got it right off the end, in fact, and McDonald had to track across, but still had plenty of time in the end, as it turns out.
Pitcher's best friend, fast outfielders. You got to love them. And believe me, I needed a lot when I was pitching.
Well, Grant McDonald has been a fixture for the Bandits in centre field for 4 or 5 seasons now, and continues to have a good championship series here with the bat and in the field. John Moore, the Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonator, really does have a solid build. I heard, Mike, you once describe him as having a body as hard as Chinese algebra, which I thought was one of the worst lines I'd ever heard.
Well, you're the one that told me that one, Warren Smith, but
Don't say that.
The reality is that John Moore works very hard in the offseason, and it's that work that he put in which has made him an Olympian. He represented in Atlanta 1996, John Moore, a Golden Glove nomination in left field. A former catcher turned into an outfielder and a Golden Glove nomination. Just shows you what kind of athlete John Moore is. The pitch, a good pitch, catches the outside corner, a fastball. David Gooder evens the count. Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. In the bottom of the 4th inning, 1 out. Greg Jelks over at first base, leading off. Dustin Allen holding him on. Gooder comes set, kicks and fires, ground ball through the hole. So John Moore just picks out a hole in the right side and finds it. Doesn't try to do too much with it with 2 strike and shoots it over there. And this is what we've been talking about. These guys can come out and put numbers up, runs up in bunches. That ball's out over the plate, an off-speed pitch. And he just shot it out there. Ronenberg picks it up easily. So look out now, because you got Melvin Rosario, and he's got some juice as well.
John Moore gets his 4th base hit of the series. As Rosario comes up, he flew out to Grant McDonald in centre field. His only time up so far in this game. Here's a line drive that's going to drop in front of Foxover. Here comes Jelks rounding third and trying to score. He'll do so. Now the ball gets away from Yates, and trotting in, John Moore will go to third base, and Rosario goes to second. The Heat are on the board. A base hit single by Melvin Rosario, and it's 4-1 to Brisbane in the bottom of the 4th.
Now let's go through this. It's a soft line drive to David Foxover. He does not possess a good, strong throwing arm. You've got a 4-0 lead. let the run score. He had it. He's already past home plate. A throwing error. Now you've got 2 more runners in scoring position. A base hit now, and it's a 1-run ball game. That is not the way to play baseball when you lead in the ball game by 4 runs. They're in trouble if Gavin Edmondson gets a hit. The momentum will swing Perth Heat's way.
One good swing and we got a tied ball game. It definitely wasn't smart baseball on the part of the Bandits there. Gonzalez letting that ball go. Peter Yates threw the hands up as if to say, why didn't you cut it? I don't know if Peter was calling for him to cut the ball, but very poor baseball there. Now 1 swing of the bat, we got a tied ball game.
That ball's 1 strike on Edmondson, 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. Back to a 3-run game. Edmondson takes that pitch, change up, and Gooder in there for a called strike, and Edmondson goes behind 0-2. Now back to the pitching for the Bandits. They've got David Gooder still out there, their starter. Waiting in the wings is Bob Nilsson, Tyson Lotes, Jeff Williams, David Simpson, and Stuart McDonald. So they have some healthy arms still out there. They'll be hoping to get it to Williams maybe in middle relief, and then Bob Nilsson to close it down. That's the preferred path of attack as far as the Bandits are concerned with their pitching.
Well, there's a long time to go. We're only in the bottom of the 4th inning. David Gooder has thrown a lot of pitches, and he did come in and get that last out last night, so he's not totally fresh coming in. It's been a hot day. He's really done a great job up to this point in time, but as we spoke about earlier, Lefty, it's going to come down to the bullpen. It's going to be the relief pitching. It's going to tell the final story.
Exactly right, and Perth just wanting to stay in contact with the Bandits.
Ground ball, room service hop to Paul Gonzalez, who throws it away. John Moore comes home to score, as does Melvin Rosario. Edmondson will go to second base on the pass ball, and we've got a 4-runs-to-3 ball game just like that.
The ground ball right here. Now watch, Paul Gonzalez, you'll see Rosario, I think he thought about, well, maybe I'll just tag Rosario, and then he said, no, I'll throw. The bottom line is this. He throws the ball away, and that's a big error. It's a 2-run error in a 4-3 ball game. Paul Gonzalez, usually sure-handed and a great throwing arm. That's a 2-run error, and the Heat back in action.
Jason Hewitt, the 9-hitter, steps up. He is 0 for 1, grounded out to Ricky Bennett, the second baseman, first time round. Composure has been something that's been seen here in a vast quantity, that's for sure, in this game. Perth were rattled early. Now the Bandits, a couple of ill-disciplined throws there. Suddenly, we've got a 1-run ball game.
Gonzo might be looking for that hole Clayton Byrne had out there in centre field to hide in for a little bit. The big fella won't be happy with himself on that. That was a routine ground ball, and he eats them normally.
Had all the time in the world after the ground ball hit him beautifully on the first hop. And you can only assume he was put off by Rosario coming towards him now. Yates does well to keep the ball in front of him and keep Edmondson at second base.
We talked about it, pitching and defense. You do those 2 things, Smitty, you got a chance to win. Bad defenses let both teams down. This time it's the Bandits. They came into this inning, the bottom of the 3rd, leading 4-0, bottom of the 4th, leading 4-0. It's now 4-3 in the tying run, and Gavin Edmondson at second base with 2 outs. Fastball away, evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's Edmondson perched out at second, hoping to score the tying run here in the 4th inning. So Jason Hewitt, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The Olympian looking for a base hit off of David Gooder.
Comes home, Hewitt fouls that back. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Edmondson at second base. And what looked to be an easy inning for David Gooder with just the 1 man on and 2 outs. It's come back to haunt him here. 3 runs, and Perth are right back in this game. And all the indications were that the Bandits were on the cusp of really putting it to them, and a couple of more runs and it was pretty much all over, it looked like, but As you say, you can never count the Perth Heat out, especially here in a 9-inning game when most of the regular season games are played over just 7 innings.
Well, they came into the inning, the Perth Heat did. They didn't even have a hit. There was no runs on no hits and no errors for the Heat. The line scores now 4 runs, 7 hits, and 3 errors, 3 big ones by the Bandits. 3 runs, 3 hits, all in this inning, and no errors by the Heat. I should say 1 error, a throwing error by the pitcher earlier in the game, so Joey Rhodes. So they're back in the ball game. It's only the 4th inning. A lot more runs to be scored before this one's over.
Curveball not called by Jeff Brand, the home plate umpire. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hewitt. A humid afternoon here with the rain all but stopped at the moment at ANZ. Gooder looks at Edmondson and comes home. That one fouled back again by Hewitt. David Gooder has thrown a lot of pitches in this bottom of the 4th.
Jason Hewitt having a great at-bat here. Left-handed hitter versus left-handed pitcher, fouling balls off. The defense really has to play him to go to the opposite field toward the left side of the diamond. He's waiting a long time on the ball. He's having a great at-bat, battling David Gooder. And a good changeup with a 2-strike, a full count changeup. Lefty versus lefty, punches out Hewitt. The Bandits still lead after 4 complete. The replay shows a quality pitch downstairs. Hewitt swings through it. 4 innings. It's 4-3, the Bandits over the Perth Heat in Game 3 of this FAI Cup Championship Series.
Dustin Allen, the first baseman for the Brisbane Bandits, will kick it off for us in the top of the 5th inning. It's Brisbane on top of Perth, 4 runs to 3. The Heat responding in the bottom of the last inning with 3 runs on 3 hits. A couple of costly errors made by the Brisbane Bandits. Allen goes deep to right field. Edmondson goes back to the wall and takes it with only a couple of feet to spare. So Shane Tonkin records the first out here in the top of the 5th. Pitched in Game 1. Wasn't needed in Game 2. The Bandits came from 1-0 down in the series to tie it up. A 6-4 victory, sending us to this point right here with a lead by the 1 run. And it will be David Foxover, the left fielder, who will step up. He is 1 for 2 in this game, a double to right field, and he got on board in the 3rd inning via a fielder's choice.
See if that inning there for the Perth Heat relaxes them now. Things hadn't been going their way.
Foxover, a half swing which will drop in front of Clayton Byrne and then kick behind him. Foxover with good wheels will round first and go to second. His second base hit of the game, and the leg break off the bat just dumbfounded Clayton Byrne. He can't believe it.
The replay shows a breaking ball. Foxover just reaches out and lifts it over Juan Bautista's head, and it kicks back behind Clayton Byrne. You'll see it backspin. Didn't look like that should have, Clayton Byrne thought it was going to just keep going straight and just kicked right behind him. So Foxover will be credited with a double on that play, and the Bandits battle back.
It seems that Clayton Byrne has been in everything that's happened in this series. Pitch inside to Brett Roneberg, the number 8 hitter. He is 0 for 2. 2 ground balls. One of them resulted in an inning-ending double play in the 3rd as the rain gets a little bit heavier once again here at ANZ. That man, Clayton Byrne, incredible error to start off Game 2. A miraculous play with an assist on the back of it to double up David Nilsson last night at first base after taking a great line drive for a catch, and then of course 2 home runs, several base hits as well as those home runs. Clayton has had an interesting series.
Well, good players always seem like they're in the center of things, and Clayton Byrne, as you said, Smitty, is in the center of things, and he is not only a good player but one of the best in this league. He's a great player, former AAA player with the Baltimore Orioles, as Shane Tonkin comes set. 2 balls, no strikes. Spins and fires. That ball kicks away from David Foxover. They collided at second base, and Gordon Wright will send David Fox over to third base. They'll call interference on Juan Bautista. Now, we'll recap the play. Juan Bautista. David Fox over and Juan Bautista, man, they've been getting after it over at second base. They tried to pick off Smitty at second base, and the replay shows right there, bang. Now here all of a sudden we got World Wrestling Federation.
These two have gone more rounds than Ali and Frazier. They've come together a couple of times now, and that time Foxover certainly came out on top as far as the umpires were concerned. And now we've got him at third base with one away, and Roneberg trying to drive in another run, which would give the Bandits a 2-run lead, and the infield once again playing in. Roneberg, a base hit line drive into right center field. Foxover comes home to score, and Juan Bautista's WWF impersonation contributes to the Bandits taking a 5-runs-to-3 lead here in the top of the 5th.
Now we'll watch the replay. It's an off-speed pitch. Okay, there's the base hit to drive in David Foxover. Let's recap that play at second base. Why are you trying to pick the guy off? The bottom line is the left-handed hitter up. David Foxover's not a stolen base threat. So you throw the ball away, you get an error, a throwing error, you move him to third with less than 2 outs, you do the job for him. Joe Ferguson, you can see him. He's not happy, and that's just what he's saying. What are you worrying about second base for, guys? Now you go to third base, and the base hit scores, and we have to play the infield in. These teams, the last inning, have not played quality baseball. The Bandits let the Heat back, and right now the Heat let the Bandits back.
The Game 3 championship game getting to both clubs.
Well, Melvin Rosario and Jeff Brand can afford to share a smile, and Rosario's in good spirits. He has a chat to Peter Yates as well. Everybody. Well, the pressure here in Game 3 isn't telling on those three gentlemen here as the rain gets heavier and heavier at ANZ. We saw the umpires call a rain delay early in Game 1 on Friday night when the rain wasn't anywhere approaching this heavy, and I'm surprised, given this game and what it means to the season, that they're still out there.
You know, it was great to see before that pitch the two catchers. Isn't it great with the catchers, man? They're like, the guys that do all the dirty work. They start the game, they play hard, but they respect one another because they know they got to be back there. They take foul tips, and, they're in the center of the action.
Yates is 0 for 1. Ground ball to Bautista. Shovels to Hewitt. He goes to Jones for the 6-4-3 double play. That will end it. But the Bandits get 1 run on 2 base hits. Well, there's the action in between innings. Joe Ferguson, the manager of the Perth Heat, grabs Juan Bautista and gives him a few pieces of his mind and a couple of shoves as well up against the back of the dugout. The manager of the Perth Heat, anything but happy with the form of Bautista out there at shortstop, and that incident with David Foxover. That really was coming together in the dugout, and Joe Ferguson has the emotions flowing over here with his side trailing by 2 runs in the middle of the 5th inning, and it's that man, Juan Bautista, who'll come to bat and lead it off here in the bottom of the 5th. And, well, he might have been in the wrong in that incident with Foxover, but after that coming together with Joe Ferguson, I'd be shaking in my boots coming up to lead off the bottom of the 5th, Mike Young.
Well, yeah, I don't think Joe Ferguson's thinking about that, though. Earlier in the game, Bautista came in spikes high trying to hurt people. He hasn't been, if you want to use the word sportsmanlike in this series, and I think Joe Ferguson's had enough of it. The bottom line is, as you see him, Bautista swing through a fastball, we're not out here to hurt people, and Bautista's playing the game like he's out there trying to do that. And I think Ferguson just said, hey, let's get on with business. Of course, Joe Ferguson is his manager in the minor leagues back with the Baltimore Orioles.
So the two are acquainted quite well with each other, and Ferguson left nobody in doubt what he was thinking after that coming together between Foxover and Bautista. Foxover, of course, was awarded third base on the interference call after Tonkin spun around and tried to pick Foxover off at second base, and it led to Brett Roneberg driving in a run which gave the Bandits a 2-run buffer. And that's where we are right now. It's Brisbane 5, the Perth Heat 3.
We all need direction at times in our careers, and maybe right there Juan Bautista's just been given the correct direction by his manager. It has been wanting for quite a while, we've seen throughout this regular season, and I think exactly as you called it, Warren, it just finally got to Joe Ferguson.
He literally and physically reached breaking point. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fouled back. Count remains 1 and 2. On deck is Ben Needle, the number 2 hitter. He'll be followed by Clayton Byrne.
I think it was Scott Metcalf sitting beside him. I think Scott wanted to move. He didn't want a bit of that action at all.
Scotty, the former most valuable player in FAI Cup baseball, is having a look. I thought he was going to start refereeing a breaking ball downstairs. A great pitch by David Gooda. Juan Bautista is the first out here in the top of, I should say, the bottom of the 5th inning.
He'll be looking for a spot to sit down somewhere up behind the left field wall, behind the Perth Heat bullpen.
Great breaking pitch from David Gooda right there to end Bautista's at bat. In these conditions, it's going to see which club has the Mudlarks in their bullpens.
Needle takes that pitch from David Gooda. 1 ball, no strike. The Heat getting 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th on 3 hits. A couple of errors, though, from the Bandits helping them on their way. Fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ben Needle was a member 2 years ago of the under-19 Australian team that took a bronze medal in the World Championship. So Australian baseball is right up there, world class, both at the professional and the amateur level. A changeup, and Needle fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out to Ben Needle.
Good job by David Gooda in this inning. Come out, got the first out, first up, 1 down. After his ball club, after their horror inning, got back into the ball game.
Needle pops it up, going backwards on his bike, pedaling backwards is Ricky Bennett. He takes it in shallow right field as Needle is retired, and Gooda sits down the first 2 batters he faces here in the bottom of the 5th.
Lefty, a good sign. David Gooda showing some velocity even after a lot of pitches, got that fastball in on Needle and jammed him up. So that's a good sign for David Gooda.
It is. He's so far doing a great job. Up to Scotty Tonkin now to do it for the Perth Heat. But David Gooda in these conditions, having pitched last night, excellent velocity at this stage in the game.
Well, Scotty Tonkin.
I was going to say Scotty's his nickname. His real name, Shane Tonkin.
I'm sorry, Shane.
Scotty Tonkin, the other Tonkin, a great hitter for the Blues, but
well, one spelt with a U and one spelt with an O, though.
This is correct, so I stand corrected.
Tonkin and Tunkin.
That's right. Shane Tonkin.
Sounds like a firm of lawyers.
My apologies to Shane.
Tonkin, Tunkin and Associates.
A little bit of difference in the height department, too.
Both Olympians, though, so they have something in common. Shane Tonkin, a winning game against the silver medalist Japan, and Scott Tonkin, a 300 hitter, a good breaking ball downstairs. Clayton Byrne swings over it. A 300 hitter on that 96 Olympic team.
Talk about the effect that little coming together Juan Bautista and Joe Ferguson had on Juan Bautista's psyche at the moment. But what about the rest of the Perth Heat team being in there and watching that happen between innings in the middle of the third and deciding game of a championship series? Byrne tries to go the other way. This one will end up out of play.
Well, let me make a comment on that, Warren. You know, with some teams that can affect you negatively, but this baseball team, the Perth Heat, have a lot of professionals. They've been through a lot of stuff in the past. And with this team, Juan Bautista sitting in the back. Juan Bautista is a temperamental guy. I've talked to a lot of the players during the season, so that might even lift the club to see that Joe Ferguson has put him in his place.
You can see there Gavin Edmondson, John Moore, and Ben Needle, everybody very quiet on the Perth bench. Not much chat in there at all as Clayton Byrne chases the pitch upstairs and goes down swinging. 3 up, 3 down for David Gooda. Through 5 innings of work from him, he limits the Perth Heat to 3 runs, and after 4.5, 5 in fact, it's Brisbane. 5 runs to 3 over Perth at ANZ Stadium.
Through the 6th and top of the 7th inning, the score remains at 5-3 to Brisbane. We go back to the game in the bottom of the 7th.
The right fielder, Gavin Edmondson, will lead it off for the Perth Heat in the bottom of the 7th. David Gooda back out there on the mound. so far against Edmondson. He struck him out and then got him to hit a ground ball to Paul Gonzalez back in the 4th inning. Gonzalez, though, came up with a wild throw as Edmondson takes this one deep. McDonald going back to the wall, has no play. And Edmondson hits a lead-off solo home run in the bottom of the 7th. And it's back to a 1-run ball game. Brisbane 5, Perth 4. Gavin Edmondson will come around and touch them all.
Well, Gavin Edmondson, the right-handed hitter, he always bats against left-handed pitchers. Fastball down on the inner half of the plate. He got all of it. Grant McDonald runs out of room against the FBI sign up into the stands of ANZ Stadium. Edmondson hit that ball at least 400 feet. So the Perth Heat battling back. A line drive from Jason Hewitt. That'll go into the corner. Foxover kicks it. He'll keep it in play. So, Jason Hewitt, a double with nobody out. He represents the tying run at second base, and David Gouda could be out of gas as Bobby Nilsson is up working quickly in the bullpen. We'll see the replay. Ball out over the plate, a good piece of hitting from Jason Hewitt. Up in the strike zone, David Foxover comes across a sliding play. It hits him in the knee, almost goes out of play. You see him glove it, keep the ball in, throw to third base. Well,
had the ball got across the pass ball line there, Hewitt would have been going to third base because he was already around third, and Joe Ferguson is coming out there to talk to Jeff Brown about that call and see if the ball in fact went across the pass ball line. But as you saw on the replay there, it didn't, and now Ferguson wanders up to left field and he talks to the third base umpire Ian Taylor about it.
Well, the next guy he's going to talk to, of course, has got to be the left field umpire, Gary Kennedy, the lone soldier standing down the left field line right now. We'll see the replay again. Now, right now, they're still in play. Okay, here comes the ball. Now, it's where the baseball is, not Foxover. Now, the glove keeps it in. See, the glove stays in the whole time.
But then Foxover stepped across the pass ball line and came up throwing, and that's what Joe Ferguson is talking about.
Well, we got ourselves a 5-4 ball game, and Bobby Nilsson, the relief pitcher, comes in. Jason Hewitt at second base is the tying run for the Perth Heat. There's nobody out. A home run by Gavin Edmondson to lead off the bottom of the 7th, and a double by Jason Hewitt, and Juan Bautista steps at the plate.
He is 0 for 2 in this game with a walk and gets a fastball right in his kitchen to kick it off. And if Bob Nilsson is going to close this game out, he has to go 3 complete innings. David Gouda through 6 innings and 2 hitters will be the winning pitcher for the Brisbane Bandits if Bob Nilsson can hang on to this lead the rest of the way. But it is a slender one. Bautista showing bunt, squares around, gets it down. Hewitt will go to third. Nelson slipped over and the ball is misplayed, and the Perth Heat have now got runners at first and third and still nobody out. And a wry smile on the face of Bobby Nilsson.
Well, Bobby Nilsson, the bunt, a fastball up. Not a good ball to bunt, but you see Bobby Nilsson come off the mound. You know, it's not a bad idea by Bobby Nilsson. He knew that he wasn't going to be able to throw out the speedy Juan Bautista, sitting down on his posterior. Dusty Allen's go, what are we doing here, you know?
Pretty rare you get a relay throw from the first baseman to somebody covering first base from the pitcher initially. Well, that's what they tried. It wasn't quite working because Allen certainly wasn't ready for it, but nonetheless, Scotty Metcalf has come into the game. He is in for Ben Needle. So the designated hitter is replaced by Scotty Metcalf, who came in and hit a pinch hit home run in game 1. Part of that 9-1 victory to Perth. What a great chance for them here. 1 run behind, runners at the corners, nobody out on the bottom of the 7th. Strike 1 to Metcalf.
Talking to Gary Nilsson, Bobby's last time on the mound in Adelaide, where they swept the Giants 2 straight. He said he threw the ball very, very well. I'm sure he wants to continue it right here. Ball up in the strike zone. Metcalf fouls it off, so right away, Bobby Nilsson gets ahead. No balls, 2 strikes to the pinch hitter, Scott Metcalf. In game 1, Scott Metcalf came on. He faced 1 pitch, and he deposited it over the right center field fence as a pinch hitter. So right now, of course, Joe Ferguson, the manager, loved to see that repeated.
Yeah, what a great life relievers. Everyone talks about the starting pitchers, but if you haven't got great relief, you haven't got a ball club, and it's a big job here ahead of Bobby Nielsen for the Bandits here in the bottom.
Ground ball, Hinton to Bennett, across to Dustin Allen for the double play, but it allows Jason Hewitt to come home and tie the ball game up. It is 5 runs apiece with 2 away, and now nobody on in the bottom of the 7th. Ground ball double play, but Metcalf brings home a run.
That's one of those things where you trade the double play for the run, stop the big inning. It's all back to even. The last 2 innings are going to call and tell the story. We said it a long time ago. It's going to come down to the bullpen. It's 5-5. We knew the Perth Heat would battle back, and they did. So you get the double play. There's 2 outs, nobody on. Clayton Byrne, it's 5-5. And this is what I'm going to say. This is what it's all about, the last 2 innings. And this is for all the marbles. Championship baseball.
Clayton Byrne swings and misses. Byrne so far in this game is 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts, and a base hit to center field. Here's a shot into the gap in left center field, off the wall on the full. Byrne will round first and try and make this a double. The throw from McDonald to Bennett is off target, and Byrne is now in scoring position, and the Heat stay alive here in the bottom of the 7th, and a base hit from Greg Jelks would more than likely give them the lead for the first time in this game.
Clayton Byrne has smoked that to that barter card sign, hitting the fence on the full. He gave that a ton, and shows you how hard he hit it. It was still a close play at second base on what should have been probably a normal routine stand-up double.
6 hits now in the series for Clayton Byrne. What a great series he's had, apart from that one indiscretion to lead it off in game 2. Greg Jelks, he is 1 for 3. Upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes.
Bob Nilsson's up in the strike zone now. He's got to get the ball down. The veteran right-handers has to make the adjustment. You're going to do this, and the Perth Heat are going to jump all over you.
Pitch out over the plate. Jelks could just foul it back. And with this crowd in the eastern stand at ANZ, Greg Jelks normally has the top few buttons of that uniform undone. Well, now he's got the game shirt on. Look at that. Undone all the way down to the belt just about. Talking to himself. Rocking back and forth in the batter's box. That one, a good cut again, fouled back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Still Smitty up in the strike zone. Bobby Nilsson getting away with 2 straight pitches. You've got to get the ball down. Peter Yates, take charge on Bobby right now, because you don't get the ball down and these guys are going to catch up to you.
1-2 pitch, 2 away. Man on second. Base hit into the gap in right center field. Around comes Byrne. He will score. Greg Jelks will go to second. A double into the gap in right field has given the Perth Heat their first lead in game 3 of this championship series. They lead it 6 runs to 5.
And that pitch, that breaking pitch, obviously not where Bobby wanted it, not far enough down in the strike zone to fall out of the strike zone as he would have liked. Greg Jelks rips this ball into right field for a stand-up double, and he shows his excitement. They're getting that hit.
Jelksy looking for his first championship. An 0-2 pitch just sat out over the plate. Bobby Nilsson comes in and runs into a swarm by the hitters for the Perth Heat. So the Heat lead in the bottom of the 7th, a 3 spot already, 2 outs, and Jelks perched out at second base.
What a change in the faces in the Perth dugout. Before they were morose. Now they're laughing and full of chat on the bench. Bobby Nilsson gets the count to 1 ball and 1 strike on Sean Jones, who is 0 for 2. Grounded into a double play. Last time up, Pitch just down low.
Nilsson came into the game 5.01 ERA, 4-3 win and loss. 2 saves, 41 innings pitched, 49 hits, 16 walks, and 15 strikeouts. So it's been hit and miss for Bob Nilsson this season.
Today it's all hit. 2 loud doubles. One of them off the wall from the bat of Clayton Byrne. And look at them in the Perth dugout. Jubilant at the moment. Smiles all around, and Melvin Rosario, the chief cheerleader.
How it swings, the pendulum, back and forth, championship baseball. Bob Nilsson's been there many, many times. Don't think he's just going to pack it in and give it in, because he's been there with the Dykeo Dolphins and the Bandits and the Cougars. Bob Nilsson, a veteran, all-time leader in saves. A line drive and a breaking ball up the middle. Nice play by Ricky Bennett. Fires it across, overthrows the first baseman Dustin Allen, and Greg Jelks will score. So Ricky Bennett had him played right. Sean Jones up the middle made the play, had time, because Jones does not run well. You'll see the replay. There it is. It looks like a base hit, but Bennett, a fine diving play to his right. He had time, and he throws the ball over Dustin Allen's head. The 6th error for the Brisbane Bandits. The Perth Heat lead 7-5 here in the bottom of the 7th inning over the Brisbane Bandits.
Wow. The Bandits continue to try and throw themselves out of the game. 6 errors. A 4-run bottom of the 7th. And we're not done with yet as far as the Perth Heat are concerned. 2 away. A man on second is Sean Jones. Bob Nilsson hasn't been able to get the ball past anybody so far. John Moore comes up, checks his swing, and takes it for a strike. Moore is 1 for 3 in this game, a single and a run scored back in the 4th. Swing and a miss, and a good curveball from Nilsson that time. 0-2, Moore goes behind.
It is a definite game of contrast at the moment. Both clubs have committed crucial errors, but the Bandits, as you said, committing 6 errors in a championship game, making their job, their task, real difficult.
Nilsson tries to catch an edge. The ball gets away from Yates. And that allows Sean Jones to go 90 feet further up to third base. Look at the faces now in the Brisbane Bandits dugout. David Gooder sitting there. Everybody. No words being said. They can't believe what they've seen. They've given up their runs in bunches. 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Now 4 here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, they've given up the runs, but it's been on errors, so nothing to blame but themselves. The Brisbane Bandits, 6 errors in the championship game. They're lucky they're only trailing by 2 as John Moore fouls off that breaking ball. 7-5. The Bandits with 2 more shots, the 8th and the 9th, to tie or go in the front, to go in the lead, I should say. Line score right now is 5-9-6. 5 runs, 9 hits, and 6 errors. 7 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for the Heat. Breaking ball downstairs. Jeff Brand rings up John Moore. So, not before the Perth Heat. What a 4 spot in the bottom of the 7th inning. The replay shows a breaking ball. Peter Yates digs it out. He has to come up and tag Johnny Moore. The Heat over the Bandits 7-5.
In the top of the 8th, the Bandits go 3 up and 3 down. And in the bottom of the inning, back-to-back base hits by Rosario and Edmondson put runners at the corners for the Perth Heat. We rejoin the game with Jason Hewitt facing new pitcher Jeff Williams.
It's all ahead of Williams right here. None out, runners on first and third.
Ground ball. Bennett will go to first base. And another run comes in for the Perth Heat. Rosario scores on the ground out by Jason Hewitt. And the Heat will have 3 runs to work with.
There's nothing really Ricky Bennett can do. You'll see, he turns, he looks, and he gets the out. A young player, didn't panic. He checked home plate, there was no play. No play at second base, he got the sure out. Jason Hewitt at first base, but a key run, 8-5, a 3-run lead for the Perth Heat over the Brisbane Bandits.
Juan Bautista at the plate. Back to the top of the lineup for Perth. Bautista is 0 for 3 in this game. He's had everything. Couple of incidents out there on the field with David Fox over, and a how do you do with Joe Ferguson back in the dugout, his manager. Pitch inside, ties up Bautista, he fouls it back. Goes behind 0-2. Both teams with 9 hits in the game, but the difference, those 6 big errors made by the Bandits. Edmondson at second base. One away here in the bottom of the 8th. Up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jeff Williams went more than 5 innings in game 1 through a lot of pitches. Wait and see just how he bounces back after having just 2 days rest.
Jeff Williams, of course, the Olympic #1 starter in Atlanta, signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The left-hander. Good breaking ball out of the strike zone. Yates digs it out. That'll be out number 2 for the Perth Heat. A nice curveball from Jeff Williams. Gets Juan Bautista swinging. Good job by Peter Yates.
2 out now for Perth. It takes us to Scotty Metcalf, who came in to replace the DH Ben Needle in his first at-bat. In the last inning, Metcalf grounded into a double play. The run did score. 4 of them in total in the bottom of the 7th for Perth. Gavin Edmondson looks on eagerly from second base. What a part he's had to play. 2 base hits, one of them a huge home run. Hard hit ground ball, misplayed by Allen on his knees. Metcalf will come around third base and cross home plate to score again. It's 9-5 Perth. And the celebrations have started in the dugout. Joe Ferguson up off the chair as well.
We watched the replay, breaking ball up, out, over the plate. Scotty Metcalf was able to turn on it, past the diving Dusty Allen. No play for Brett Ronenberg at home. Keep the runner at first base. Not many options at all out there at the moment.
It's been a long time between drinks for the Perth Heat. Clayton Byrne fouls that one back into the stands. Byrne is 2 for 4, 2 strikeouts, a single and a double. 1 run scored. Champions in 1990-91. They are 0 for 3 in championship series since that time.
And it looks like Queensland continues to be a happy hunting ground for the Perth Heat when it comes to winning championships, having won their last one on the Gold Coast, only about 30 minutes drive from where we are tonight.
Against the Dakio Dolphins down there at the Palm Meadows complex. Hard hit ground ball, this time to the left field side, foul as well. Greg Jelks in the background there on deck. Words of encouragement for Clayton Byrne. 7 consecutive postseason appearances by the Perth Heat. They really should have had more than their 1 title to this point.
Well, you know, sometimes you just don't get the breaks, but the Perth Heat deserve it all this year. Battling back, this man, Clayton Byrne, playing a big part. He's going to swing and miss and strike out, but he'll hustle out to center field. A 4-run buffer as Shane Tonkin sprints to the mound in the 9th inning. The replay shows a breaking ball. Byrne can't hold up. He's out on the strikeout, but the Bandits, 3 outs away from losing to the Perth Heat. A 4-run buffer, that's going to be tough to make up.
Shane Tonkin has the job of shutting down the Brisbane Bandits in the top of the last inning. Perth leading 9 runs to 5 in this 3rd and deciding game in this Australian Baseball League Championship Series. And Steve Hinton takes that pitch on the inside corner for strike one. It will be Hinton, Bennett and Gonzalez, the 1, 2 and 3 hitters.
This man, Shane Tonkin, he's been the turning point for the Perth Heat. An outstanding effort for the Australian side in the Olympics, and right here in Game 3 of the Championship Series.
Jelks wheels and throws to Jones. One away. Perth 2 outs away.
There's the replay. Stevie Hinton, hard ground ball to Greg Jelks. He's playing like a teenager in this game. Wasn't going to make a mistake on this one. Gets the first out.
Looking for his first championship ring is Greg Jelks. Keyed up, nervous, in anticipation. Ricky Bennett comes to the plate. That pitch in there for a strike. Bennett is 2 for 4 in this game. The lights now on an ANZ. A murky sky above as Bennett swings and misses. Comes up empty against Tonkin. What an outing from the tall right-hander. Rosario sets up outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ricky Bennett. Let's not put aside what this young fella's done this year. .394 batting average, a great playoff series. Breaking ball fouled off to the right side is young Ricky Bennett. The Bandits battling hard. They trail 9-5, 1 out. 2 outs away, the Perth Heat are. Their second championship, and that man, Shane Tonkin, pushing for his MVP award. A pop-up. Jason Hewitt takes it, 1 out away. Shane Tonkin got the victory, I should say the save, in Game 1, and looking for the victory here in Game 2, Warren Smith.
Bennett just gets tied up there, and Hewitt tracked across behind Shaw Jones and took it quite comfortably. In Game 3 in the playoffs against Sydney last year, Perth in extra innings led by 2 runs, and Sydney had 2 out with nobody on. The Blues came back to beat them. The Bandits need to score 4 at least to keep it going here in the same situation as the rain gets heavier. But it won't spoil the Perth party, it looks like, at the moment. Pitch up high, 1 ball, 1 strike on Gonzalez. He is 0 for 2. 2 base on balls, a fly out and a strikeout. 9 runs to 5 in favour of Perth. Popped up into shallow centre field. Clayton Byrne has it, and the celebrating begins. The Perth Heat are the champions of the Australian Baseball League for 1996-97, and well may they celebrate.
A well-deserved victory from the Perth Heat. West Australia, get on your feet. These men, 40-20 in the regular season, deserve this moment.
They led from the very first week of the competition. Shane Tonkin, what an outing from him. Joe Ferguson was in all sorts of trouble when he went to the bullpen to bring in Shane Tonkin. Joey Rhodes couldn't get the job done. Robbie Wells was brought in. Shane Tonkin came in to relieve him, and he went the rest of the way and did it so well. Kim Jessup, that certainly was an impressive display from the tall right-hander Shane Tonkin.
He did a great job, there's no doubt about that. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, he was the turning point for his ball club. He come on in and shut down the Bandit lineup, and from then on, just errors and mistakes from the Bandits allowed Perth to get runners in scoring positions. They come up with some clutch hits. Unfortunately, a great effort from the Bandits to get here. I bleed Bandit blue, but the Perth Heat have come out and deserved winners in this ball game. They capitalise on mistakes.
Okay, so just taking a look at the final stats for the game. The Brisbane Bandits, their 5 runs on 9 hits. They made those 6 costly errors, though, and left 9 men on base. The Perth Heat, the championship victors, 9 runs on 10 hits. 1 error made by them. They left 7 men on board. But what a great win it's been for them. Champions for the second time.